some text there. We'll see that it's working. I can select something, I can remove things, and so on. Okay, so it's a nice simple little GUI, but the logic and the GUI are all baked together. Okay, so not a great place to be on this. So we want to improve things a little bit. One thing we can do, and early on what people started doing when they're designing GUIs, is they came up with a couple different ideas for how to organize their GUIs. Some people went for an object-oriented approach, some people went for a procedural approach. If we go for a procedural approach, we might have something that looks a little more like this. And this is actually an approach that the code generator in Visual Age for Java used to do a while ago. And I kind of like this as far as code generation because it's actually really simple to read. You don't get that big blob of stuff printed out there. But what we're doing to start with here is setting up, here's just for each of our widgets, I have a variable, just a field in the class. And then what I'm going to do is for each one of those fields, I'm going to have a method to create it. And this is basically a lazy instantiation method. If you ever see something that looks like this, if something is null, create it, and then after, return it, that's called lazy instantiation. We're waiting until something is actually needed before we actually create it. So it's a last minute thing, and you're going to notice that every one of these methods in here, get list, if it's not existing, create it. Get item field, if it's not existing, create it. Create center paddle, if it's not existing, create it, and so on. And what's really cool about this is now the order in which these things call doesn't matter. The first time you call something, you create it. The next time you call it, you just return it. So something like this, when I say button panels add, create add button, I'm going to get that button if it's already been created, or I'm going to create it at that point and set the